Hey guys, it is Doug and this is the Project Black Hole. It has been a while. We've got lots of stuff going on and I feel so bad because I feel like I need to get this video out there because it could help somebody that's maybe hit a rough spot as they're trying to track down boost leaks. But in doing so, I'm gonna put this video ahead of some other stuff that I have yet to edit. So the big reveal is not going to be as big. But so this used to have, for those of you that have followed along, the Project Black Hole used to have a compound 12 valve in it. And now we have built a nice mildly built 6.7. Got a 64 millimeter turbo on here and a nice Edge Juice with Attitude. Just kind of make a good towing truck, and we're gonna get some things sorted out. We want to make sure that everything's right, and then send her off to paint and body, and then we're gonna sell her. Move on to the next project, which will be kind of fun and interesting. But with all that aside, today's video, I wanted to talk about checking your Cummins for boost leaks. That is something that you might notice a dip in performance, or you might be suspecting something, you're getting a little low on power or a little extra soot as compared to what you're used to. You've checked your air filter, you've checked fuel filter, you've done some other things, and everybody keeps saying, you gotta check for boost leaks. So today, I just wanted to share with you a quick video on some basic things. Now, nobody likes this, but it's important to do, so we're just gonna hit it right now, and that is, be careful. We have machined this plug out of HDPE. It's just like a big chunk of plastic. We threaded in an adapter so that we can just chuck our air hose right into it. But we've done it with a big lip on the backside. You can buy these kits online, or you can make one if you have access to a lathe and a big chunk of metal or plastic. But make sure you've got a safety lip to keep that thing from blowing out of there. In the early stages, we tried using like PVC caps and all these things that were smooth, and we tried knurling them so that they would have some texture and wouldn't blow out. Well, when you stick 15 pounds, let alone if you're boost checking at, say, 40 PSI for a leak that's coming open, guess what? Those things become a rocket, and I know it's lame to talk about on a dude's channel here, but guys, don't get smacked in the face by one of these things flying out of here. We've seriously seen some of these things rocket out of here and try to dent the roof as they go, because they just kind of ricochet off of everything. So with that covered, don't be stupid, play it safe, make sure that whatever you're using to pressurize the system is good. So we've got some kind of air source. You can try by just revving the truck up to get some boost, and if it's a big enough leak, you will find it. Okay, so you can have a friend do that while you use some soapy water, which we're gonna get to in a little bit. But this is by far the easiest way to do it. So this is one that we've made that's 3-inch for going into the intercoolers and like the 2nd gen stuff, because that's mostly what we run on the output side of turbos. This happens to be the 2.75, so you've noticed I've got the pipe off here. So the best way to do it that I'd ideally like to see is you leave all this hooked up, and then, let me kill the compressor. All right, got that shut off now. Nobody wants to hear that in the background. The best way to do it is ideally, if you've got a 2.75 inch area here on a 3rd gen truck, you're gonna want to plug your adapter in here, have that sealed off, and that way you're checking the maximum number of connections possible. So let's go over to let's introduce you to this, okay? So we've got it's just Dawn, just the foamiest soap that you can get. You want it to be foamy and like a little cheapy $1 spray bottle, okay? And over here, you'll notice this lovely foamy mess, but underneath here, see if you can see it, right down in there is an aluminum. We have 2 different kinds. We have an aluminum and a steel plate. So we slide that underneath there, and yes, it's not perfectly sealed off. That's why you're getting a lot of this foam. But so what we've got that blocked underneath there, so that way we can keep this whole system as pressurized as possible without having to try to, kill ourselves. You can try to do it without that plate, but what happens, it goes into your intake manifold and that's great and all, because you might see a bolt that you're missing on like a 12 or 24 valve style that has some pass-throughs. Common rails have blind holes on most of these things. But if a valve is open, you know, you can lose all of your precious boost through there. And really what's key is being able to hear the leaks. So it helps if you have the plate. All right, now that we've got the actors involved, let's go over here. You see some foam on that side. What you're looking for here, guys, let me get you in the line of fire here. Okay, so I've got the squirt bottle, and I'm gonna hose down not only the connection here, but I'm also gonna hose down the boot. I'm gonna get it all as soapy as possible, and I'm gonna wait to see what happens. Now you'll know that it's foaming a little bit. That's pretty normal. If that's the kind of leak that you're seeing out of your intercooler boots, you're in pretty good shape, okay? You'll also notice, you'll see a little bit of foam there. Okay, so I've sprayed this down on my first pass, and you will notice it's important to spray the seams. Spray as much of this. If you have your AC condenser off, you know, go ahead and spray all these areas, or take a big bucket of soapy water and dump it right over the top. I've used about a whole bottle of this, checking everything, because you will notice there will be some areas where you might have some leaks. Now, they may not be enough to actually influence your performance. What you're looking for, so like on this side right over here, we had a leak, okay, actually. So I'll tell you about it. Oh, there we go. Okay, so on this side right over here, we had a leak that was a fairly strong, like a fairly consistent and strong spray at 20 pounds of pressure inside of this, coming out underneath those clamps. So those clamps have to be really tight. You couldn't wiggle them with your hands, but it was still loose enough that you would get a stream out there. And we also had a stream, you can see that I've got the 11 mil still on here. We had a stream that was coming right out of that bottom side there. It was right in there. Not enough of a performance dip for what we're hunting on this truck right now, but still, any kind of a boost leak at 15, 20 PSI is gonna be magnified at 40 PSI, and you're gonna be looking at any serious performance levels at some serious loss of air that you're working hard to generate. So you wanna check all of your connections, all of your boots, anywhere, like we've got a separate mechanical line coming off here for testing right now. So all of that area, you want to check all of these things. Now we have that plate in there, so I'm expecting to see this, but I'll do this again with the truck running and just somebody revving it up for me, and make sure that once I pull that plate that we're not getting this bleed through to the bolts over here. So I hope that's kind of like a quick shot at how to do this, but I hope that helps somebody who may be trying to chase down some boost leaks. I'll try to find some adapters. We made our own, but I'll try to find a plate and adapter set so that anybody that's looking for a quick link to one, you can go ahead and adapt that on. Sorry, that you can scratch that. And so I hope this will be helpful to somebody who is trying to chase down a boost leak somewhere and maybe beating their head against the wall, just to show some of the process that you go through and what's normal, okay? So normal foaming right here of a boost boot versus, I'm just gonna go ahead. Okay, see that? Okay, so if you start to hear something like that, you got bad stuff going on, where you hear that? And let me get some water, because that may be, okay, so that's at about 15 PSI. So there you go. Hopefully that's helpful to somebody. Hopefully this helps somebody get their truck up and going. Thank you so much for joining us. If you got any question, as always, man, you can go ahead and throw the questions down below. I try to get back to them as fast as possible. This process will be basically the same, guys, on anything that is forced induction. So whatever you're hunting, Cummins, Ford, Chevy, Duramax, piece of agricultural equipment, this is a basic look at what you might do to track down some boost leaks. I'm sure other guys will chime in with their favorite stuff, but this should get you pointed in the right direction. All right, you guys have a great one, and I'll talk to you later.